All right, y'all, we are live on this beautiful Friday. God bless everybody in the name of Jesus, Yeshua, the Messiah. Even if you are not religious, I pray you and your family are super blessed as the Bitcoin price is currently coming up to the purple box of hope and wonder that we had in our chart since Friday. And of course, it is Friday, so that's going to change everything. It feels like a Sunday, but of course, on Monday I thought it was Wednesday. Here's the thing, guys. When you get to my age, days become irrelevant. That's okay. You just gotta ride with it. You gotta roll and ride with it. The Bitcoin price came up to the purple box of hope and wonder to form a sideways range. We've taken the high of the range, we've taken the low of the range, and the question is the direction going to change? We come to the chart and we can see clearly that the large year-long range from the time our boy DJT, Donald J. Trump, won the election. We are breaking down from the orange line, getting potentially either one of two things, either a rejection, or we're actually breaking out and backtesting and we're heading up to $96,000. We're going to be breaking it down for you guys. Everything you want to know about crypto, you will find out during this live stream. So make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, make sure to click the bell for notifications. Because, look guys, if we get 1,000 people in the first half hour to like the video, we will be giving away $1,000. Now, do I think we'll get that? Well, I mean, we don't have many people in the house now. Alright, it's Black Friday, people are tired. All the tryptophan or whatever that in the turkey allegedly that makes you tired, even though, come on, we all know that's not true. It's not the turkey that makes you tired, silly goose. It's because you spiked your dang blood glucose to 17,000 with all the dang apple pie. And then sat there and watched football. That's why you're tired. But anyway, we'll blame it on the turkey. Make sure to tell all your friends who are sleeping on the couch after the turkey to come like the dang stream. So that we can give away 1,000 USDT. Alright. Alright guys, this actually is a pretty big make it or break it moment for Bitcoin, as you can see, because we are coming back to backtest $92,000 as the value area low of the macro range. It was support all through the winter of 2024, resistance in the spring of 2025. We had a weekly close below last week, and in 2 days, we're going to see if this weekly candle can close above or not. You can see that the fear and greed index right now, Pierre de Peso Caminado, Quanto Debo Caminar? Ah, si senor. The fear and greed index is extreme fear at 25. However, this is up from last week at 14. But this is also very down from last month at 51. People are still in extreme fear, and as we know, when things get extremely fearful, this is where we do expect the bounce. In fact, last time we were in extreme fear was back here in April of 2025. Alright? Now, the news continues to be a little bit bearish here. CoinDesk, today, at 6 in the morning, crypto market today, Bitcoin rebounds, but downtrend still looms. Most people, most analysts right now, expect that this is just some relief that's going to end in more downside. Bitcoin bounced back to 92,000 US dollars after last week's sharp sell-off, reaching as high as $93,000, the highest it's been since November 20th, but the broader crypto market also saw some stabilization. Some altcoins showed strength even as macro uncertainty remains. Now here's the thing. According to this article, the downtrend is still intact, and they have a good point. When we take a look at the chart here, we can see that from April, we made a low, we made a high, we made a higher low, we made a higher high, we made a higher low, we made a higher high. Then we tried really hard not to make a lower low. We tried hard. Alright, we gave it everything we had. We tried to give it a push. We tried to give it another push. We tried to give it another push. And then boom, we fall right down. And not only do we take out this last higher low, but we even took out this one here, changing market structure on the weekly time frame. And we have some very important resistances above us right now. As we know, between 92 and 96 is very important resistance. And so a lot of analysts are saying, look, this, objectively speaking, doesn't look so bullish, right? Doesn't look so bullish. Leverage unwinds and liquidity tightens across crypto. Wow, that's a pretty cool title for an article. It really does make me want to read the article, so I did read the article. Basically, what this article is saying is, as of Q3 2025, we saw a lot of crypto collateralized debt. All right, borrowed funds that were backed by crypto reached a new all-time high. Now, unfortunately, since Q3 2025, we have seen a massive drop. All right, and we have seen a massive amount of deleveraging, and that basically is a fancy word, guys, for liquidations. All right, people are getting liquidated because their crypto collateral can no longer support their debt. All right, this has caused many liquidations, forced exits, and this is honestly not good for the market right now, to be honest with you. The fact that we've got a lot of leverage out of the market, these are people who have lost big time, man. These are people who have lost big time. And so what this does is, it pretty much paralyzes people. When people are on leverage and they take big losses and they're out of the market, a lot of times that forces them onto the sideline, right? That forces them onto the sideline. Very interesting times. Very interesting times. Check this out. Bitcoin recovers over 10K since the 81K bottom, but markets brace for historically bearish December. All across the board, these news articles are looking pretty bearish, which is interesting because we're going to look at the technicals in a second. But right now, the news is pretty bearish. Despite this bounce, according to this article here on Crypto Potato, people are warning that December has historically been a bearish month for crypto. And because December's historically bearish, then we can expect this month to be bearish too. That's pretty much what this article says. We don't even have to read it. In the news, people are looking for bearish. Now let's take a look at the technicals here. I'm going to start on our weekly time frame, guys. Objectively speaking right now, it is no surprise that we have seen a pullback since October 6, 2025. We saw massive amounts of bearish divergences at this area. 2-month bearish divergences have confirmed. Month bearish divs, 2-week, 1-week bear divs. We're seeing the weekly momentum coming lower than it's been since the bottom of the bear market. All right, now remember, market cipher B, the oscillator, this is showing us strength and weakness. The higher the momentum wave goes, the stronger. The lower the momentum wave goes, weaker. Now, obviously, when we're in weak momentum, that's where we look for a reversal, right? Because there's only so much selling that can happen before we get a retracement. Now, let's take a look at this chart here, and let's just recognize the fact that we are seeing a significant bounce right now on this weekly time frame. And let's also recognize the fact that if we can close a weekly candle above $91,000, $92,000, that does open up the door for more upside. All right. When you have a momentum wave this oversold on the weekly, -65, when that thing confirms a bottom, you need to expect some kind of relief to the upside. All right. Please don't ignore the big bottoms on these high time frames, even in the midst of sharp bear markets. These big bottoms give us big moves to the upside. In the case of last bull market, we had a 130% move to the upside. We had a 47% move to the upside. And we had a 42% move to the upside. Massive moves to the upside on these weekly bottoms, even in a bear market, right? And then the next time we got a weekly bottom like that, it was the bottom of the bear market, basically. So, just please be aware that when things are very bearish, things are very fearful, don't forget about the high time frame bullish signals, because that's where people, you know, the way the market works is, unfortunately, most people get wrecked because people stay bullish, they stay bullish, they stay bullish. Nope, just the dip, buy 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 the dip. Finally, they're like, okay, fine, I'm bearish now. Fine, I'll sell, and then boom, we get a relief rally, right? Don't be one of those people. When we go to the 3-day time frame, we have just confirmed yesterday, or not yesterday, I guess 2 days ago, a hidden bullish divergence here on our 3-day time frame. In my opinion, this hidden bullish divergence on the 3-day does have the real potential, guys, to take us up to 96,000 or potentially even to our next areas of support and resistance, which is first going to be around 102 and then potentially the 108 Fibonacci golden pocket and even the value area high at 115. All right, it definitely has the potential to get us there. I want you just to remember that in general, if the top is in, well, why wouldn't we expect some kind of a head and shoulders pattern, right? That's typically what happens. We get the big impulse, we get a retracement, and then we get another big impulse, right? You know, the good old-fashioned ABC correction. A, B, C, right? Why wouldn't we expect something like that to happen here? Especially when we have hidden bullish divs on time frames like the 3-day. The 2-day time frame has already confirmed the hidden bull div as well. The daily time frame has confirmed the hidden bull div as well. And the 4-hour time frame did form some bullish divergences here. So there is room for upside, but here's the word of caution. This weekly candle is going to be very telling because the first wall, the first barrier that we need to get through right now is going to be this orange line at around $91,000, $92,000. The reason why is because since last year, this orange line has where the Bitcoin price has been considered undervalued, right? So if we're down here, it's undervalued. If we come into undervalued territory and we try to break into fair value zone again, but we get rejected, that is a pretty big sign of weakness, all right? So we have the confirmations forming here, and we've had our move to the upside. I mean, let's be honest. We have had a 15% move to the upside. That's not bad, right? That's not bad. If we can close the weekly candle above this orange line, this chart has it at 90,400, then there's no reason why we actually can't see the relief continue, squeeze some of these shorts, come up to 96, 97, potentially come to the golden pocket, which is not just any level, guys. It's the high that we made in December 2024. It's the high that we made in May 25, and it's the low that we made in September and October 2025, right? This has been a very key level here. And just remember that weekly starts printing the green dot and we could see some big push. Now, the overall context of the market, I do have to say, is quite bearish, and I am actually looking for more downside on the high turn time frames. I'm pretty convinced that the top is in right now for the Bitcoin bull market. You know, I hate to say it because I really wanted there to be a legitimate all season. I still think we could see altcoins get some gains if Bitcoin can get a relief rally. It doesn't have to make an all-time high. But let's be honest, when you have confirmed bearish divergence on the 2-month, historically speaking, well, that's the top, you know? So why try and negotiate with a 2-month bearish divergence here? You know, that's how I look at it. So I'm personally looking not to buy Bitcoin until we're under 70,000, ideally until we're under 50,000. And really, my big buy zone for around the summer, fall of 2026 is going to be between the 786, 886 Fibonacci, which right now is coming in between $27,000 and $37,000. All right, I'm just going to say it how it is. I'm going to give it to you straight. I never give it to you gay on the Jason Casper YouTube channel. All right, that's if we see a sell-off comparable to previous cycles, which is going to be like a 75% sell-off, which people say we're never going to see again, right? Last time we had a 77% sell-off. The time before that, we had about a 84% sell-off. The time before that, we had about a 86% sell-off. So let's just say 70% sell-off, going to bring us just under $40,000, which honestly, when you think about it, if the low is 40,000, that's pretty great. I mean, that is pretty great. I mean, remember when Bitcoin was like, I don't know, $1,000? Remember when Bitcoin was $2,000 and we felt so rich? I'll never forget that. I'll never forget a Bitcoin at 2,000. I'll never forget Bitcoin at 3,000, actually. On the way up, 3,000 was euphoric. On the way down, 3,000 was horrible. And then I'll never forget the first time Bitcoin hit 40,000, all right? I'll never forget that. It seemed surreal. It seemed absolutely surreal. I remember sitting there with my wife. We were laughing. We felt so giddy. Like, we're geniuses. Right? Now, that's kind of what I'd be looking at. Yeah, I'll just be honest with you. You know, I don't care what people think. I really don't care what people think at all. This is what I think, and this is what I'm planning for. Okay? Maybe I'm absolutely retarded. It's a good chance. All right. So we are in fact getting a bounce from first support 786, 886. This weekly candle close is going to be very super important. We close above 92,000. That opens up the door for 96, point of control. We reclaim 96, point of control. We're going up to 102. We reclaim 102, and there's no reason why we can't go to 116. Value area high. But in general, I'm expecting that the highest we come is going to be right around this box here. And then we're going to make another move to the downside, and we have some bearishness in 2026 until we bottom out around the summer or the fall, and then we eventually start to pump again and hit new all-time highs. All right, so far, the 4-year cycle, although it might be institutional money might be keeping us from having as intense pullbacks, so far it's right on schedule, I do have to say. It is right on schedule with the pullback that we had in January 2024, as well as the pullback that we've had on October 6, 2025, right? Pretty much everything's lining up. Let's quickly check out ETH here, because remember, there are the ingredients for ETH to hit new all-time highs, even if Bitcoin does not hit a new all-time high, which is this, you know, we're forming this disgusting looking, how do you call it, parabola, like downward sloping parabola. And this downward sloping parabola is basically a recipe for short squeeze, right? And we're bouncing from the Fibonacci 618 here. So if Bitcoin can hold the low that we have right now, and if we can reclaim 92, then if we start to see some of the money move into altcoins, I think we could see some fast squeezes to really catch people off guard. Because remember, sentiment is so bearish right now. And I do think that max pain for quite a lot of people would probably be another big push, especially if ETH makes a new high. You know, because we've seen that people are out, right? People are out. We've basically seen the biggest deleveraging event since 2021, which is pretty crazy. People are out of the market right now. And so, what better way right now to cause max pain than to pump it up, right? Pump it up, baby. So if ETH also can confirm the weekly green dot here, I think we could see that. Our 3-day time frame has also confirmed a trigger wave, which is bullish, objectively speaking, actually. When you come down and make a low, like we did here in April, with a bullish divergence, big momentum on the left, small momentum on the right, giving us the coveted uneven butt cheek pattern. And then the money flow crosses from purple into blue, and then you make this next trigger wave with continued direction. That next trigger wave tends to give you a significant move to the upside, right? Remember, even in the midst of bearish markets, when we're dealing with the weekly, when we're dealing with the 3-day, when we're dealing with high time frames, they should not be ignored, right? I've seen it with myself and others in the past, where you start to get blinded by the past. You're like, well, it's been bearish for so long, and we haven't gotten a bounce in so long. I'm just gonna be bearish myself now and expect straight down only. don't ignore the high time frames, right? There really is a chance here within the next week or so that we see ETH get some relief here. And if ETH starts to get relief, it'll be much easier for ETH to make a new high than Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's market structure right now is such that we've already formed a really nice range, right? We've already taken the liquidity on Bitcoin, right? We have a really nice order block right here on the weekly time frame at 114. We have a really nice support resistance flip on Bitcoin right here at 108. Like, there's a lot of good levels to reject from on Bitcoin. ETH, on the other hand, what do we have here? Like, what do we have here? Nothing. We just have like this disgusting, squeezable kind of action, right? Let's not forget also that if we look at the ETH Bitcoin pair, we are seeing some interesting things here. Let's go to the monthly, right? Let's go to the monthly. This is a macro range going all the way back to 2017. We've come to the bottom of the range. We've gotten a nice big impulse to the upside. We're back testing the high volume node of the range as support. We go down to our weekly time frame. We had a nice bull div at the low. Then we have the momentum on market cipher B breaking out of this very long downtrend, right? We have a very long downtrend of momentum here. We are unable to see a momentum wave break above this trend line from 2020 all the way to our present day. Then boom, we have a big momentum wave here. We're starting to see money flow cross up. This means we could see ETH really outperform Bitcoin. And in the event of, let's say, Bitcoin getting a move up, ETH starting to have a short squeeze, I mean, we could see really that ETH outperform Bitcoin like crazy, you know? In fact, I do believe that the relief rallies that happen in the bear markets, they tend to be more focused on altcoins than Bitcoin. Now, it is really sad this time that here we are this far into the cycle and we haven't really seen a lot of altcoins hit new all-time highs, or if they have, they've just made like double tops, right? Like ETH essentially making a double top, Cardano essentially making a double top, coins like Chainlink super disappointing, AVAX very disappointing. But there is room for some Pump City, man. A little bit of Pump City. Let's take a look at the BTC dominance. All right, so Bitcoin dominance getting a little bit of a move up on the week. Not exactly what we want to see if we're expecting some altcoin gains here, but we've still been below the channel. So let's keep an eye on this candle here. We actually would prefer this candle not to close blue if we want some altcoin gains. Let's take a look at, or let's just take a look at, let's take a look at others. This is total crypto cap excluding top 10. So this is like really altcoins. Holding support. Let's take a look at total 3. This is excluding Bitcoin and ETH and pretty much everything else other than Bitcoin and ETH. So we are seeing total 3 down a little bit on the day. So it's just kind of chopping around between Bitcoin and altcoin. Let's take a look again at USDT dominance. Okay, so, you know, USDT dominance, we do want to see continued downside here after coming to our range high. If we want any hope, in my opinion, of altcoin season, we need all these charts to be lining up perfectly, right? We need the Bitcoin to be holding the low that it made at 80K. Ideally, we need a weekly close above 92. Then we need to see Bitcoin dominance going down, altcoin dominance going up, and USDT dominance going down, right? The reason we want to see those things is because we want Bitcoin not to be dumping. We want money in crypto leaving Bitcoin, going into altcoins, and not going into USDT, right? Because Bitcoin dominance could be going down, and that could basically mean people are putting it into Tether. Like, we don't want people putting their Bitcoin to stablecoin. We want them putting it into altcoins to give us those altcoin pumps. And USDT dominance has come to the top of this sideways range. We've been trading it since basically December 2023. Right, January 2024, that was a big pump for crypto in general. Then we come back to the summer of 2024, and then we come down here when Trump wins the election and he gets inaugurated. We have this like altcoin season, Then we have the rug pull. We come down to the summer. And ever since the summer, you know, people have been putting their money back into Tether here. It would be nice if we get another move down at least to like the golden pocket. Like if this thing is going to break to the upside and we enter a full-blown bear market, it would be really nice to come down and make at least a higher low here, so we'd have the chance to get some gains, baby, if you know what I mean. Get some gains. A chance to get some gains. Do I sell large quantities? Oh. Bitcoin will never recover. Permanent loss of confidence. Well, I'm happy to see that comment, to be honest. Coffee and relaxing. I do like to see comments like that because it gives me hope for the future. Hopium is here on Copium Road. Okay, so we've had a lot of hopium, but all right, now let's give some non-hopium. I'd say we're probably entering into the bear market, and I'd say that we should, well, you know, I'm not looking to buy Bitcoin until we make a new low, below 70, really below 50, and hopefully below 40, right? And then we could expect new highs. This has been a lackluster bull market for sure. Like in hindsight, that big pop that we've been waiting for with the euphoria hasn't happened. So is it true that crypto has lost all its sensationalism and all its euphoria? That is pretty sad when you think about it. That is pretty sad when you think about it. That we've lost all our sensationalism, all our euphoria, all that, because that's one of the things that made crypto so special, right? You know, open mouth thumbnails and insane gains and euphoria and everyone talking about it, you know? That's part of what made crypto so fun. But now is it just going to be like a normal market because of the fact that BlackRock is here and we've got Bitcoin ETFs? And that's sad. That's sad, you know? We're going to have to only use closed mouth thumbnails, and who knows, maybe we'll all have to wear suits and ties now. Wouldn't that be really sad? Where you can't wear your Market Cipher tank top anymore? On YouTube, now it has to be a shirt and a tie. You can't be on a treadmill anymore. You have to be on a desk. Sucks. Sucks. Just another car guy says, it's a pullback, you need glasses. Yeah, all bear markets are pullbacks, bro. That's just how they are, right? It's the monthly time frame. The last bear market was just a pullback, bro. One before that too was just a pullback, right? So they're just pullbacks. They don't last too long. You know, we'll be back in a few months. We'll be back in a few months. First, we need to liquidate Michael Saylor, and then we'll be back. Honestly, that's the bottom signal. When something happens with MicroStrategy, we're gonna have a celebration buy party. We're gonna have a celebration buy party. Wow. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. All right, let's see who else we got here. Trump equals scam. Do you think so? Quit slacking to give us a pump song. I don't know. All pullbacks are bullish unless we create a lower low on the macro. Yeah, unless we take out 15,000. But you know, we were entertaining here this crazy idea, right? We were entertaining here this crazy idea of this, right? Of this being the range, this being a bearish deviation above the range, us coming back inside and basically taking all the liquidity here and coming back down to the bottom of this giant rising wedge just to eventually do something like that. I mean, we were entertaining this, just joking entertaining it, but you know, I mean, look, I wouldn't say it's impossible. Like, given the right, like, black swan event that could happen or something, yeah, like, I don't know. Like, that would actually be pretty crazy. That would be pretty crazy. Do I think it's gonna happen? don't think this would happen, honestly. I don't think this would, because this would be something we've never seen in crypto history before, and I'm pretty sure. Well, we have seen 80% pullbacks, yeah. I mean, I don't know, like, based on proof of work, what the actual value of a Bitcoin is right now. I don't think it can actually go that low based on, like, the proof of work. But, you know, even if we made a lower low here, and we came down, and let's say we came down to like a $13,000 Bitcoin, I would still be super bullish on Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is such a bullish asset that a dip that low would be an amazing opportunity, you know. But I think it's more likely that we don't make it down that low. I'm kind of looking at around our $40,000 level. The reason why 40,000 is because simply it's the 786 Fibonacci, and also I think a lot of people are going to be waiting for the back test of 30K, which I feel like won't happen, right? It's just too obvious of a bottom, right? Like last time, everybody was waiting for 13K because of the support resistance flip. We had the perfect monthly level right there at 13.7. We had that wick from May 19, 2019, and it was just such a nice looking level, and we front ran it, right? So likewise, 30K, such a nice looking level. We have the lows from the May and June, July of 2021. Then we have this multi-month resistance basically from March 2023 all the way until we broke out in September 23, you know. So I think that's going to be the level a lot of people have their eyes on. But the Fibonacci, that is in the zone, like that is in the bottoming zone here, but every cycle we dip less into the box between the 786 and 886. So that's why I'm expecting like a dip below 40K, but not coming back down to the 30K low. But we'll have to see, because once we're below 40K, you know, I'm gonna be buying, because I'm gonna be loading back up on the crypto, man. Loading back up on the crypto, on the Bitcoin specifically. Altcoins, I don't know if I'm gonna even buy any this time, because I've already got them and I haven't sold them because we never hit my levels. You know. Shout out to Yowzer Dunkosaurus. Jason Casper adding to the Fear and Greed Index. Ha 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 ha. Dude, it'll never go that low. LMAO. Does your chewing gum lose its flavor on the bedpost overnight? No. Bear is going to be wrecked. I mean, all these kinds of comments, you know, with all due respect, are the reason why these... Well, never mind. They're not the reason, but it's those kinds of comments that give me confidence in the bear market, you know? Just like it's the bullish comments at the top that give me confidence in the bear market. And saying it could never go that low as 40K, I mean, come on. That's not that low. We've seen every single time at least a 70% pullback. We're talking now, if we do come to 40K, that's a 70% pullback, not even, right? 67%. That would be the most shallow bear market we've ever had for Bitcoin. That's not that big of a deal, right? Just look at the chart, right? Just look at the chart, okay? This is a very bullish chart. But what in the world makes you think that we're not going to have something similar to the previous bear markets that we've had every time? Like, we have, this is the 2-month chart. We have a lot of sideways, and then we get big, scary, a few months of capitulation type action, and then it's over. What would make you think that wouldn't happen this time, right? Is it BlackRock? I would say this: the pullback has happened exactly on schedule, okay? The pullback thus far, which is the biggest pullback we've seen this whole bull market. This is the biggest pullback we've seen so far this whole bull market. This is happening. Oh my goodness, really? Let me see. Nice. We got a turkey up in here. Let's check it out. This is a cool turkey, honestly. Look, it has a bobble swivel head. You guys see that? is the biggest pullback we've seen thus far. I forget what I was going to say, but oh yeah, okay, so let's say that BlackRock will save us. Like BlackRock saved us in January 2024, right? We were expecting a 45% pullback to backtest our 35 to 40% pullback to backtest 30K before the moonshot, right? That's what we were expecting back in January. BlackRock did save us. The ETFs did save us. That money coming in caused us to get a 20% pullback instead of a 35% pullback, right? So, if the BlackRock thing is going to save us this time, right, then I'd say looking around maybe like 60K is reasonable, because that is going to be our Fibonacci 618 level, right? That's going to be our golden pocket. That would actually allow us to get a bear market pullback of about 50%, which is, I'd say that's pretty good, right? And we bounce from nice support. And in that case, yeah, we have our resistance, we have our breakout, we have our backtest, and we go right into the next bull market cycle. But I would be very cautious being bullish right now when we have a 2-monthly bearish divergence, right? Again, this time could be different. I'm not going to say it can't be different, but just look at the history here, right? Bear div, that's the top. Bear div, that's the top. We have the bear div. Why would we think this time we're not going to see more of a pullback than this? It's confirmed. Like, this whole time we've been watching it build, right? Is this the top here in May? I don't know. We have the div. Then up here, is this the top in March 2025? I don't know. We have the div. But now it's confirmed, right? It was forming all this time. Now it's confirmed, right? So that's kind of how I would approach it. Your gut says Sequoias, that would come down 60 to 70. Yeah, that's right around the golden pocket as well. Like right around 60K is our golden pocket. I think it was at 58. 58. But last bear market we did take out the previous cycle all-time high, right? So the previous cycle all-time high was about 19.8, and we came down to about 15.75. So this time, previous cycle all-time high is 68.9, 69K. So yeah, it makes sense that we dip right into that zone there. That would line up, that theory of not taking out the previous cycle all-time high too badly or just dipping below does line up with getting less of a pullback this time, right? So I'm gonna be cautiously interested to see what happens here. But if we lose that level, I would be expecting much more downside for sure. That turkey was drinking water. Yeah. They've been accumulating for so long already. On top of the 3 bear divs, there's a lot going on under the hood with the economy right now. I'm just not convinced we keep going up from here, says the real K Diggity. Yeah, I've been hearing some rumblings about this, like, totally, like, strange, weird economic situation as well. I'm not a macroeconomic guy, but shout out to Super Rooster 14. He says 50K is not enough pain for the bear market. We're going to those 30Ks. Man, you know, I'm open to it. I'm open to it. I'm open to it. Yeah, let's put the, okay, I'll put the log scale fib on here. Ooh, 34. 34, okay. All right. Log scale, golden pocket is 34. Can you sell old... What the heck? We got some scammers up in here. When government economics are in doubt, they will print it out. May take months for that to really affect the market, maybe. Yeah, doesn't the printing usually begin with bearish but end in bullishness down the road? Thomas Cute 8390 says, God forbid the big tech bubble pops. The top 4 tech companies are literally circle jerking money to each other. Yeah, that would be intense. Like, if we see some, if this bear market is facilitated by some serious stock market dumpage, we could see some of those targets to the downside, honestly. Now, Help 3902 has a good point in all caps, which probably means you're a boomer. No hate to boomers. I myself am a boomer. I do love to use all caps, okay? But he says there's way more bears. That's confidence in continued bull run. I will give you that point. This market cycle is marked by bearishness right now. Like, even like your bubblegum, you know, top 20 radio crypto analysts are bearish right now. Which is, you know, very out of character in the crypto market. Typically, you know, your top 20, you know, cookie cutter, open mouth thumbnail YouTubers are always bullish. So I will give you that much, but I think it's because the space is just more experienced now than they were in the past as well. Like, you know, but I just can't. Here's my thing. It's the chart that I really have a hard time with. The chart I really have a hard time with, because the chart to me looks very bearish. You're 29, lol. Well, then you're a boomer in heart, just like me, bro. If you're a bro, I assume you're a bro. You're a boomer in heart, just like me. But you do bring up a good point there. Am I in a trade? Yeah, I'm in a trade. I'm in a few. I've got the short open from the top. I've got the long from the Uh-oh, watch this. I've got the long open from 82.5. Yeah, I'm in a few positions here. What if China calls in just some of trillions in debt? Stop the background music, it's not necessary. This is not the background music, this is the foreground music. This is the foreground music. Sometimes I just gotta bust a rhyme in the middle of the song, in the middle of the live stream. You know? And there's nothing like some old school boom bap hip hop beats to really keep the vibes up, you know what I mean? Over on Epidemic Sounds. You know? Been digging some of these new tracks. You know? They're nice. Is it a good time to short here? So, you know, look, I would say this. There is a valid short trade to be had here based on the rejection, which isn't really a rejection yet. So there was a low time frame short trade to be taken here earlier today when we formed a mini range and then did a liquidity grab of the mini range high, right? So basically, the short entry for today would have been the loss of 91.9 with the stop above the high, okay? Now, if this is really a rejection of the orange line, then yeah, it's not a bad place to short with the stop above the high, all right? But I'd say the higher time frames do kind of point to a real potentiality of more upside here, like a 3-day hidden bullish div confirmed, right? But the next place I would look for a short would be this, the Fibonacci golden pocket, basically the back test of these previous highs here. So, you know, I'd be looking to come up into this zone here for another short entry, just to give me a better risk to reward ratio. Unless you're looking at this as a swing trade to take out the low, the overall low, which is valid. I would wait for a more local entry here. Again, the high time frames are very bottomed out. So yes, this is a place to look for a short. This is resistance for sure. But I personally feel we could get a move up to 96 here. I do feel we could get a move up to 96 here, based on our 3-day, based on our 4-day, about to print the green dot here, hidden bullish divergence. I think we need to let these higher time frames play out a little bit more. And I think we could see something like this, you know? And like chop around range here a little bit for more downside, you know? I would not be surprised for an uneventful December, January, and then we start to see bearishness more in February, March, April, May. Money printer will be turned on in May. Liquidity injected into the market, just saying. Yeah, so that kind of lines up with the whole bottom in May and June. Yeah, Crypto Cowpoke says those aren't actually tracks. Those are, that's a live band in the background. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, for sure. Where's the 0.66 on the fibs? I don't usually keep the 0.66 on the fib. You gotta customize it. You gotta customize like the 0.65 or the 0.66. I mostly, you know, my actual golden pocket for me is between the 618 and the 786. That's the real golden pocket for me, because a lot of times you'll see this is the zone. This is the real zone. Yeah, don't forget the VPN. I had to turn it off because the stream was getting choppy. And so therefore, it's messing up with some of my exchanges, you know. Crypto face is really long from here? That's interesting. Lamest bull run ever. Trump coin. I do feel like Trump coin could get a pump. I don't know if we'll see new all-time highs on it, but I do feel it could get a pump. Could get a bit of a pump here. Could get a little bit of a pump here. Okay, guys, the code for eggs today is leftovers. All right, leftovers. So if you want to get some eggs today, leftovers is the code. All right, leftovers. Leftovers. 30-minute looks good. Yeah, the band has to move on a trailer because they're following Jason with his green screen backpack up the side of a mountain. Yeah, to the top of the bull run. We're actually on the way down from the mountain, though. But yeah, same deal. Shout out to Crypto Coons holding it down with the wrench. Let's check out the 30-minute. Saying, looking, it's nice for a scalp. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this definitely did look pretty bearish at that high, right? Money flow coming down here. Are you talking about a scalp short? That yellow VWAP oscillator. Yeah, I personally, like, this is a sideways range here. I would wait until we're back up around these highs before I would look for another short here. You know, that would be what I would look for. But definitely had a good short entry. And it's still valid if you're looking for massive move to the downside, right? But as a more low time frame trader, I would need to say, you know, let's look for a better risk to reward there, you know. Look for a better risk to reward. All right, shout out to Absurd Production. Can we get a freestyle, bro? All right, let's see if this beat moves me to emotion. I will, I'll be able to drop a freestyle, all right? Weird image there. And I don't know if I'm feeling this beat.
That the market makers criminals, sending you the bearish messages, acting so subliminal. Here we go, underneath my tongue. I got the price action, and you know we run. We got the phone, ka-ring, ka-ching, locking in the profits. Here we go, and can you even spot it that we came up to the Trump value area low at the range 92K? Then we go and wreck all the longs, all the shorts. If you're bearish, you're about to get hoard. Like a pig in the mud, that is how we snort. Next thing you know, we wanna take a tortellini in the pasta. Don't you know I am a pasta? Then we're going to the Olive Garden, looking like a master, trading master. Cause my name is Jason Gospa. We come back down, then we go faster. You know, we could dump here, Sit back, relax, let me spit it in your ear. Do not be afraid, Jason Casper's here. My dear, I'll give it to you in the clear, you know. We came up, we had liquidity, then we took the highs. Listen back to me, we came to the low for the CD dub. Now the price is still, let me give a hug. Don't you know, if we reject, I'ma tell you what the Bitcoin price will do next. Going to the gym, we only train arms and chest, never legs, cause that's what's best. We could come back down to the bottom. We'll do some TA, can you spot them? First of all, about to pull the Fibonacci from the low to the high like a mariachi. In Mexico, sombreros on the head, trades only in the green, they're never in the red. We got a big pump right into my head, then we came down, all the bears will end up dead. But if we lose the level, my treble, only bass, don't you know, we're out here like rebels. Breaking the law, coming down with a chainsaw to the 618, the biggest place you ever saw. Boom! Maybe we get a bounce or kaboom. We come down off of the couch like a mouse, looking at a cat pounce on the wall. Next thing you know, the Bitcoin price will start to fall. Then we lose 70K, going to 50. Hip hip hooray, I give it to you straight, you know I never give it to you gay. That's because my name is Jay Casper in the house, like a Bitcoin mouse. Relaxed, I'm sitting on the couch. Get up, bro, don't be a slouch. Outside when I'm digging in the garden, got gas in my belly and you know that I be farting. Got the gas in my belly, then I spread the purple candles like the smoker's grape jelly. Yeah, I put it on the bread. Jay Casper got the bars in his head. Don't watch YouTubers instead. Watch Jay Casper, you know he is red. Yeah, he's got the red on the skin. Where do we begin? Running out of things to say, can I get it in? Oh no, Freestyle's dead, let me take a spin. Yeah, the beat keeps going. Jay Casper always keeps flowing. I got an itch on my chin, scratch it nice and good because that's how I begin to take the profit. Can you spot it when we rock it to the golden pocket? Market makers to be top it, hopefully we never drop it. Rocket, reverse it like Sonic and Robotnik. On the treadmill, you know I'll never stop it. Yeah, the candle's turning blue. The Bitcoin price about to show you what she gonna do, and hopefully the candle's only turning blue and never purple. Jason Casper, he is such a nerd, they call him Steve Urkel. We got the drop, and now we got the back test. So dang tired, he needs a rest. Coming back down like he's under arrest, with the cops taking back to the chest. Yeah, get inside the back of the cop car, taking a ride, you're going far into the slammer. Bitcoin coming with the hammer to drop the price down. I hope you're not a spammer or a scammer out here on the web. Bitcoin price looking for my treads. Nah, I didn't make this track, I don't know who this is. Yeah, okay, it's a decent beat. I ran out of a lot of things to say, so I'm sorry. But, you know what, guys? Speaking of that, I'd say that this is pretty boring price action today. You know, I'm gonna cut the stream, guys. I love all of you. Hopefully y'all have a great day. Hopefully y'all have a great weekend. I hope y'all had a great Thanksgiving. God bless you guys. And I'll see you next week. Peace.